Many thanks for choosing us. The Electricity Company of Ghana is proposing tariff adjustments to reflect current trends and also afford the struggling company the space to manage its finances. The company is also proposing the government review its subsidy on electricity. ECG is currently on a revenue mobilization drive to collect some 5.7 billion cedis owed by customers, but the money, if even all is collected, will fall short of the debt obligations of the company. We'll walk you through some of the pressing demands on ECG, but first listen to Managing Director of the company, Samuel Mahama, on the debt situation.
We can say we've collected in excess of 2 billion, and we know that this is the final week. This final week we are pushing very hard. Our intention is to say that, look, we've had a month long. We've been patient for 3 weeks now. This is the last week. There are no longer any more excuses. It's okay. Just pay up so that the company can be made whole. Our intention is to do our best to make sure that we retrieve enough of the revenue so we can build a better company. Our intention is to make sure that we do it right for there to be enough meters for all our customers to benefit from it. So that's the plan that we are on now. But for now, we have to do what we have to do on our side as a company. And we also entreat the individuals and companies that purchase our product to know that we are at a point where you have to pay for what you have consumed. That's the whole.
Still on ECG debt, 200 homes have been disconnected in Dambai in the ongoing ECG revenue mobilization exercise. The disconnection team has retrieved 780,000 Ghana cedis in that community alone in the Volta region. Volta Regional PRO of the ECG, Benjamin Obin-Entry, says they will do all in their power to get other communities who owe the ECG to settle their debts in the region.
We have disconnected about 200 customers, and then these customers were owing some like 80,000 Ghana cedis. But after the disconnection exercise, these customers have responded positively. Some of them have visited our offices to make payments, others are also using payment platforms, and as we speak, we have received close to 1.2 million Ghana cedis in the Dambai district of ECG. When you come to ECG in the Volta district, we have 11 districts, and the Dambai district is just one of those districts. Though Dambai is politically situated in the Oti region, it is the administratively Dambai district is part of the Volta region. So we oversee 11 districts, and Dambai district is one of them. So far, we have received close to 1.2 million Ghana cedis. We are not relenting on our efforts, despite receiving close to 35 million Ghana cedis since this exercise began. We will keep pressing high and on our customers, because like you see, we don't take delight in correcting customers. So if you look in the Volta, what we are doing more is revenue mobilization, not margin collection. We are engaging customers because we believe that once we sell power to you, if you consume, that's when we get money. But if you don't consume, then we'll be making losses from our reserve power. So we want you to consume so that we'll get more power. So when we go there and you offer us a payment to it, maybe I owe you 200,000 today, I'll pay 150,000 today and pay 3,000 by the end of the week. Definitely we'll understand and then tell you any sort of disconnection. But when we get there and then we don't receive any positive feedback, that is where the disconnection happens. So as we speak, all the teams are understood simultaneously across the 11 districts. The operations have been positive so far. Customers have lauded us for this initiative. Customers have also supported it.
So in truth, this is it's not an exercise that you think you'd be able to finish. No, you can't. But within this short period, we intend to recover enough of it and then now launch a proper and systematic process to continuously close that gap as quickly as possible. There's a possibility that we might even start selling the debt to private institutions to go and collect. It's something that we are thinking about considering, because we are getting to the point where we need all the help that we could get. So if it means discounting it to the necessary company and then getting what we need, yes, why not? So it's something on the table worth considering. So our plan is we'll get as much as we can, and after that we'll sit down, do an assessment of ourselves, and then plan what we are going to do next.
And in the face of mounting criticism over recent losses at the produce buying company PBC, Deputy CEO in charge of finance at the company Vivian Boydie is defending management. In our latest hotline documentary, PBC Troubles, Joy News investigative desk showed the steep decline in PBC's market share from 30.88% in 2016 to 8% in 2021. Here are excerpts of that documentary.
In 2021, a whistleblower and senior staff of the produce buying company petitioned the presidency over the possible bankruptcy of the state-owned venture. He raised alarm about the downward trend of PBC's market shares. In his petition to the president, he made a prediction about the market share of the company. He stated that if PBC market share should hit a single digit, it will spell doom for the state-owned company.
Exception of our new management, I realized our fortunes per market share were falling, and as I indicated earlier, and it affected our remunerations. You know something? For the past 6 years, we have never had even 1% salary increment, and you can imagine the hardships we are all finding ourselves through in Ghana now. Even 1%, because yes, it's true. The financial difficulties and challenges we are facing, and it's all because we are not able to buy in volumes. That is why I wanted to inform the presidency. I wanted to inform the appropriate bodies to have a second look how best they can help PBC to stand on 8 feet to buy in volumes.
As it stands now, with the way PBC's market share is dropping, we are in the 2022-2023 cocoa season. With the way the trend is going, what do you think PBC's market share is likely to be in this season?
I'm not a prophet of doom, but we all have to be honest and be truthful to ourselves. As I predicted 2 years ago, that if things are not changed, as we have been doing things, we will be buying a single digit. And if we buy a single digit, it means we are not going to be able to pay ourselves and sustain the business. Everybody will be going home.
He blamed management for the predicament of PBC and urged a change in business strategy to protect the livelihood of the over 900 staff and 15,000 commission-based clerks. After blowing the whistle, he was suspended, demoted, and eventually sacked for drawing the attention of the presidency to save the company and enable it buy in huge volumes of cocoa.
Invited by PBC executive management, they intimidated me. Now, why should I write to the presidency to tell the president? Why should I write to the presidency? Then I explained myself to them. Then I explained myself to them and I left. Then I was interdicted. But after I met executive management and I explained myself to them, you know one thing that surprised me? There was not a single question from the executive management as to solutions I have for the PBC.
Let's now hear from the Deputy CEO, Vivian Boydie, who says management team cannot be solely blamed for the company's recent financial struggles.
Aside borrowing, you also have to look at the finance cost that comes along with it. Now, we could still maintain this same system and, however, have an improved version of what we are doing now to give us better results than what we have now. Because we rely solely on Cocoa Board Seed Fund, anytime there are hitches or there are issues, definitely would also run into cash flow problems. And I believe that is what happened last year, because if you check the previous year, 2019-2020, we were able to pay our salaries throughout the whole year. It was only in 2022 that we had the 3-month gap because we were expecting a certain amount from Cocoa Board. We didn't get that amount from Cocoa Board. So we were not able to do the sort of operations we intended to do. So it's not, we could have an improved system of what we are having now, and the system will still work. However, PBC itself has to work on itself. So it's not just looking at the financial restructuring. We also have to look at the operational restructuring of the company, and that is what management is currently tackling now, how to get the turnaround faster, be able to go back to Cocoa Board and get the seed fund and go back to the market. And that is what we are working on. We also have to look at the staff side of it. So PBC is currently going through some phase of restructuring to be able to stay profitable and be able to reverse the negative trend on our balance sheet and so resume our normal operation.
Well, a former CEO of PBC, Nana Boateng, has been contesting the position of the current Deputy Chief Executive. He says the current management must certainly take responsibility for the unacceptable decline, considering what was handed over to it.
2017 that we were leaving, that I was transferred in September 2017, we had already secured the guarantees and everything. So in that 2017-18, they made up with 23%. The following year that they had to handle it on their own, they dropped to 17%, and that's why they are dropping and dropping. The issue is that, what is it that has gone wrong for them? As people have alluded, CPC is a strategic, and it's not for nothing that the government itself placed it in that position as a buyer of last resort. And that's how we had 106 depots and buying centers. For whatever reason now, we left a balance, what is a debt, of in our books on my handing over of 289 million. That 289 million was 42.5 million for the Golden Bean Hotel, 50.2 million for PBC Bupe share, 10.5 rehabilitating this, our office. We purchased 20 new articulators and 20 tractors. So the only outstanding debt was 80 million. So now, what is it that, let them say that, what have they added on to this debt, which is now in their position? My sister, if you have an institution at Bupe, as the gentleman was talking about, where you have 200 tons production a day, giving yourself at 80% capacity, gives you 160 tons. Working for 30 days is 52,800. When you do the share extraction, you get 48%. So that would be 25,344. $1,400 is $35 million. At even 11 cedis, it is equivalent to 494,000 tons buyer's margin they will get for cocoa. What is it that has come that they've abandoned that structure? Today, go to their office today. If you can send somebody to the office, even the furniture and their curtains there, they've not even been able to replace. Yesterday, I was telling Kojo on the Joy News that they were able to make a profit. In the cocoa buyer's margin, asking her again, the buyer's margin is a composition of primary evacuation and everything. Did you hear some of the district managers talking about it, that they themselves have to handle the primary evacuation? These all cost centers, they are not paying. That is the reason why it is in this.
Public Affairs Manager of Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, says they are deeply concerned about PBC's fall.
For the intervention, the situation of PBC would have been worse. However, we are at a stage where there's the need for us to intervene, because we believe that we have, even though we have about 65 license buying companies, PBC is one of the key license buying companies we do business with. So if there's any reason for us to intervene and ensure that PBC is able to stay and work, then Cocoa Board will be prepared to do so, and that's precisely what we are working on. PBC is a very important LBC to us, so any effort to help PBC stabilize is one we are very much concerned and prepared to do. So yes, we are looking at our own financial situation and how best to position ourselves such that we are able to deal with our responsibilities. Seed fund is one of the things we do or give out to support the LBCs and their operations. So in as much as we continue to give seed funds to LBCs, PBC will surely have that priority as we help in stabilizing the organization. The wish would have been that PBC will have other means of supporting the activities, because for a license buying company, the expectation is that the license buying company will be able to raise some finances aside Cocoa Board. But in the situation they find themselves, of course, we also acknowledge that that is a challenge they have. And what is important for us to do at this point is to ensure that PBC stays afloat and is able to perform its responsibilities.
The earlier story of ECG's mobilization drive and take you through some of the pressing demands on ECG. My colleague Elton Broby joins me via Zoom for more on this. Elton, you have intercepted some documents on ECG's debt issues and demands on them.
Well, Aisha, so what we have is the debt portfolio for all the power producers, ECG inclusive, Gridco, VRA, and the rest. Now, as it relates to ECG, there are three key issues that's confronting them right now. Now, remember that they are in town collecting around 5.7 billion Ghana cedis. That translates to almost 500 million US dollars. Now, we is also demanding $600 million from ECG. And then the independent power producers, according to the documents that we have, is also demanding 1.4 billion US dollars. Now, the independent power producers, they have refused to restructure their debt. Government wrote to them asking that they restructure the debts, but the independent power producers wrote back to government saying that they will not do so, which means that ECG or government will now have to find the money and pay them. Now, ECG books doesn't look so good. Even as they went to the market to secure 1 billion Ghana cedis, they were able to get only 500 million Ghana cedis, which now put their finances in some kind of a difficulty, because the IPP on one side is they are threatening that they may have to switch off their plans if they don't get the money that they require. They went into an agreement with ECG some time back to pay them 50 million Ghana cedis every month for God knows how long. They'll be able to pay this money to offset the 1.4 billion US dollars. So that is our standard. There's also demand from Gridco, and there's also a demand from the Kuapa Authority. All of this, comes in a circle of what government is seeking to do in terms of the IMF bailout, and then the demand on government to ensure that these state-owned enterprises are profit-making entities. So that's the more reason why, according to ECG, they are in town making sure that those who owe them pay this money.
The document. Go ahead, Elton.
So actually, I was talking about the fact that from ECG's own perspective, they claim that they've identified 4.5 million customers. Now, the sad thing about this is that they are losing 1 billion Ghana cedis every year because of power theft. This they have identified. Now, people are also crying for ECG meters. ECG says that they don't have the money to even procure and import meters. In the last 1 year, they've not done so, which is giving rise to people to now go in for fake meters. They've identified 20,000 fake meters alone in the Greater Accra East, and they are working to address. So this is the situation they find themselves in this document that we have.
The document also reveals operational lapses in ECG's books.
Exactly. So they say that they are losing 1 billion Ghana cedis every year due to power theft. They've also identified 1.5 million of their customers, but some of them have undertaken, illegal connections, and they are not getting the money that they require. They need to supply meters to homes. Because of financial constraints, they are unable to do so. In the last 1 year, they've not been able to bring in meters, and they've identified 20,000 illegal meters in circulation only in the eastern part of Greater Accra region. And this they are doing to ensure that they turn around their fortune. Now, what they have proposed is for an upward review of the tariff set by PLC for ECG. In fact, they've gone further to say that there should be a dollar components in the tariff review such that they'll be able to collect and pay in dollars, especially those they owe in dollars, like the IPPs, we, and the rest. And then instead of the quarterly review, they are proposing a monthly review of tariff.
So in the interim, what is the ECG doing to ensure that their customers pay their debts?
So, for example, out of the 5.7 billion Ghana cedis that they set out to collect, from their managing director, they've collected 2.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now, the rest of the 2.5, from what we've been told, is becoming extremely difficult to collect because some are owed by government institutions, including the military and the Ghana police and other, including Ghana Water as well. Now, they've written to government to say that if you are giving, for example, budgetary allocation to the military and the police, the components that they should use to pay electricity, pay that money to GRA so that ECG, that will go to meet ECG's tax obligations to GRA. So instead of giving the money to the Ghana military or the police to come and pay the electricity bill, government should rather give that money to GRA to represent ECG's tax obligation. This is a proposal they put before government, and they're hoping that government will come to here. Secondly, they are looking at exploring the possibility of allowing the private sector to collect their debt for them under a specialized incentive package that they want to roll out in the coming days.
Elton Brobe with those details. We are certainly monitoring what happens with the ECG. We'll bring you more as we get them. The Trade Union Congress has rejected the government's proposal to restructure pension funds. The Finance Ministry had written to trustees of pension funds, inviting them to participate in what it calls an alternative proposed offer. Government is proposing a 5% coupon in 2023 and 2024. The ministry says the participation of the pension funds is needed so the government can comply with cash constraints. But speaking to Joy News, Deputy Secretary General of TUC, Joshua Ansan, says Labour will not allow the pension funds to participate.
We have not looked inside our own country and checked what can we do to overcome these challenges. But because there's something that is easy way to go, like the way I think government is focusing too much on the government pensions. And even I'm saying it this evening and saying it again, that Labour will not, I want to repeat, Labour will not do anything contrary to the agreement signed between us and the government on our pensions. Because already pensions is inadequate in this country, and it is our blood. If I tell you how much somebody gets when it goes on pension, it will marvel you. And we think that if we have not been able to do anything for our members, we must secure their future for them.
Yeah.
So that they will also be beneficiaries of their services that they have rendered to this very country. Whether it is an alternative or whatever, we can look at other alternatives, but not the pension funds. We also have our research department. We also have people, at least amongst us, who knows much about this debt exchange issues. And like I said this afternoon, Evans, we are going to meet. We have a meeting on Thursday for us to make our decision and position known to the government and known to the whole country and the whole world. But beforehand, I want to insist and state categorically that if it is an attempt to touch our pensions, I don't think it's going to be. Consider other alternatives and the other proposals that we actually tabled during the conversation. Government must look there and ensure that we raise these funds over there, but not to touch our pensions fund.
Former President John Dramani Mahama has ended his 2-day tour of the Oti region with a call on delegates to select the best candidates for the parliamentary elections and unite for 2024 general elections. According to former President Mahama, he's sure to lead the NDC into the 2024 elections. However, how the party handles the aftermath of May 13 primaries is paramount to winning the general elections. Former President was addressing branch and constituency executives in the Akan constituency. Peter Seno has more.
The 2-day tour of the region began at Likwe Mate in the yet-to-be-created constituency in the Gwan district. The tour took the former president to Bwem, Biakuye, Krachi East and West constituencies for day 1. Day 2 of the tour took the former president to Krachi Nchumuru, Nkwantan North and South, and finally, the Akan constituency. His message to the delegates is to give him the maximum approval on May 13, where delegates elect parliamentary candidates and a flag bearer for the 2024 general and parliamentary elections.
KJB constituency Mundi mi Huamboda 2019 me baha and I'm share me bo. What's the President Mahama? Yabama won more than 90% of the vote. And Panso Bosha Moshe no. Mudi so pepe. And to me by ya chairman Ejina Manamu. Aka say 1.something% a year no. Marco Jean Mohu. And to Modi Bekaho. And to Modi Kahua. About 99.999%.
He has also called for unity in the party regardless of whoever wins the mandate of the delegates on May 13.
Yanya young town for Nipa or your opponent any NPP for. Enti ye say Nipa na yenina enta Nipa nechi. Every say senya ye bobo asa Nipa no amane timi edin kunim no. Sa na edru yan so a nipa nyina beta yechi na onwa boy.
His message to the delegate was not without a swipe at the ruling NPP.
Enye Ghana ye NDC hwe so no a ye de ma Nana Akufo-Addo no enye sa Ghana ni nie abra ye NDC wa ba mu a ye hwe Ghana so na ye ho toye.
He has accused them for excessive borrowing without any valuables to show for it.
Borrow more than 470 billion cedis. Now,
in the Akan constituency, two interested persons are contesting the incumbent, Engineer Yao Gomado. May 13 will decide. Peter Sanu for Joy News.
The only female aspirant in the NPP primary for Kumawu by-election says she has what it takes to unify the party and for election victory. Obapa Amasewa, the Secretary General of the Ghana National Commission of UNESCO, is confident the delegates will give her the mandate to lead the party to drive development in that area.
The New Patriotic Party is seeking to retain the Kumawu seat in the parliamentary by-election. 6 of the 8 aspirants in the NPP primary have so far received clearance after the vetting. The vetting committee has, however, not disclosed reasons the 2 have not been cleared. Sources, however, point to documentation challenges which the aspirants have been given up till Wednesday to sort out. Amasewa is the only female amongst the 8 aspirants seeking to lead the NPP in the by-election. She wants party delegates to vote massively for her to lead the NPP to victory.
I'm not only standing here on the ticket of being female, but being a female achiever, a female who has excelled in all endeavors. My record is clear, and I'm a true patriot. And if given the chance, I shall take Kumawu constituency to its rightful place, and that is why I am standing. Well, 2020, we put it straight to the fact that one of our own went as independent. And that is why I'm saying I am here as a unifier, because often families fight. That is inevitable. It is important to sit and put together everything, ensure that people's grievances are heard and felt, so that we come together and be the Kumawu constituency that we've always been. The people of Sechia Kumawu deserve better, and we owe it to them to do it for them.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional NPP chairman, Bernard Nchibo-Siako, has called for unity among party members ahead of the Kumawu by-election.
We are pleading to everybody, it's a plea for everybody to vote for NPP party. And also, we want everybody also to unite. Yes. Honorable Baswa may his soul rest in peace. For the sake of Honorable Baswa, what have happened, I pray that his ghost bring development, peace and unity to the party and then Kumawu constituency.
Still in the Ashanti region, a trailer has run over 3 salon cars at Sokoban in the Ashanti region, leaving 1 person dead. According to eyewitnesses, the vehicle, which was carrying a 40-foot container, was coming from Sokoban on the Ahunjo Trede Road. The deceased is identified as a male who was driving with his wife. His wife also sustained injuries. The woman and another person in a different car are receiving treatment at the Asafo Hospital. The assembly member of Sokoban Daban area, Kojo Boateng, attributed the accident to the slow pace of the road construction. According to him, but for the fact that it was a holiday, there would have been more casualties. He's thus appealing for the contractors to speed up the road construction. We're still live on Joy News today. We're coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to wear on DSTV and GoTV. Stay tuned. We'll be bringing you more in the world of business.
Hello, let's do business now. I am Beverly Broom. The Asokwa District Court in the Ashanti region has granted a 4 million Ghana cedi bail to the acting managing director and the operations manager of Kuapa Kokoo Limited, Fatima Ali and Abdullahi Mahama, standing trial over conspiracy to steal an alleged embezzlement of 8.6 million Ghana cedi belonging to the Cocoa Marketing Company. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was in court and reports the 2 persons pleaded not guilty of the 22 charges leveled against them. We apologize for that. We'll bring you that story subsequently. Now, government has been criticized for the late payment made to fertilizer importing companies. According to ranking member on Parliament's Select Committee on Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs, Godfred Seidu Jasso, this is among the factors that have led to shortage and increased prices of fertilizers on the market.
The African Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership, in collaboration with Feed the Future Policy Link, convened a roundtable discussion themed The Future of Fertilizer and Agro Inputs in Ghana towards the Soil Health Summit. Speaking at the roundtable, Ranking Member of Parliament's Select Committee on Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs, Godfred Seidu Jasso, highlighted the unsung challenges facing the fertilizer industry.
What can we do to ensure that there is a favorable policy environment or economic environment for these businesses and private sectors to want to add more and invest more in the sector? I think that we've had a lot of the ups and downs. Various explanations have been given by government, and I saw all of you, almost all of you, laughing when we talked about the Russian-Ukraine war. It's been repeated and so on and so forth. But it's true, that's one of the factors. But there are other factors, of course, that are not often mentioned, and that is, has government, for example, our Ministry of Finance paid suppliers? You know, these are some of the questions. Once they don't pay and exchange rates escalate, the people have taken credit. These suppliers have taken credits from the bank. So the exchange rate then erodes everything that they do. So it doesn't become a good business environment.
Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Ado, said combining both organic and inorganic fertilizers will reduce cost and improve soil health.
The soil health, if we are going to combine organic fertilizer with inorganic fertilizer to improve the soil health, then we need to do a lot more dialogues and discussions to find out exactly with the R&Ds, strong research and development institutions within the fertilizer subsector, that we may realize that we will not even need the kind of capital we say we need before we set up some of these things.
Chief Executive of the African Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership, Michael Sudakasa, indicated stakeholders must be encouraged on the need to use specific fertilizers for the right soils. This, he said, will increase yields.
How do we replenish what is taken out of the soil is a focus on how do we first analyze the different soils that you find, again, multiple soil types in a given country. So we're using GIS technologies, we as industry, to find out what types of soil there is. We're using, there's a number of, some are NGOs, some are commercial entities that do soil testing. What that is leading us to also is to understand that different crops grow better in different soil.
The roundtable aimed to develop actionable and outcome-oriented strategies to address the challenges facing Ghana's fertilizer and agro-input markets.
And that's all for business. But we have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I'm Beverly Broom. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's time for sports here on Midday. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, in about 2 months' time, Ghana will be competing in the U23 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco in order to stand a chance of qualifying for the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. Now, General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association, Prosper Harrisonado, says it is their sole objective for Ghana to qualify for the tournament for the first time since 2004.
That's the quest. The quest is to qualify to the Olympics game, and so you will see that the technical team, the FA and everybody is geared up in terms of the preparations to ensure that we present a good team, we give ourselves good preparations and be in the position to compete with the rest of Africa in terms of the other teams that will come. 3 slots are available and then one, let's say 50-50 slot. We want to take one of the 3 slots. And so we must be ready. And like I said, immediately we qualified in Kumasi, the plans set off. And so the coaches know of this. They are monitoring the players. We are working very hard so that the players they will bring forward for us to get for the tournament would be able, through our engagement with their clubs, be able to get them so that they will have the best of preparations. But this is an area that we have some of our best talents. If you look at the Blasters, you look at the age level, the average age level, you see that some of the players qualify to also play in the U23. So we are very hopeful, and we want to qualify, and I think that we've given ourselves an opportunity, and we will take it.
Time will tell if indeed Chelsea could complete a comeback against Real Madrid. And you can follow the game on Joy 99.7 FM. There will be live commentary for you at 7 p.m. Now, my name is Haruna Mubarak, and that's your sports.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Today, our stories this afternoon, Ghanaian comedian and stage actor Foster Owusu, popularly known as Foster Romanos, has described comedy as the most difficult job in the world. According to him, the hardest thing to do is to make people happy and laugh at all times.
The most difficult in the world, the most difficult job in the world. I mean, all the hardest thing in life is to make people laugh. People you don't know, people who are sad. Someone might have lost their mom today, but it's here. You have to make the person laugh, heartbroken hearts, all diverse, walks of life. You still have to make sure you deliver. So yeah, it is the most difficult job. Yeah.
Before I let you go, what else do you have up your sleeves? What should we be looking forward to? Do you have an album coming up? Because, you can practically sing.
Well, when the time is up, you'll be the first to know. And you never know. You never know. That's why Romanus is incomplete, because there's always something coming up here. So, yes, December we are coming with Romanus Incomplete 5. And some other project before the year end. Definitely you're going to hear it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too, baby. Mwah.
Meanwhile, the comedian has credited reggae and dancehall act Samini with the positive impact he has had on his career as a stand-up comedian.
Well, as a performer, I would say that I have been really influenced by the brand Samini. Before even going to university to start, studying, etc., I used to listen to him. My confidence, my ability to, perform as a performer on stage, I learned a lot from him. And most of the time, his song sort of has its own way of, getting to me. So yes, and him as an individual also bigs you up anytime he sees you, gives you 1 or 2 tips here and there. So yeah, Samini as an individual and as a brand has really, had a very positive one.
Now, Ghanaian actress Rosalind Ngiza has earned a nomination for Best Actress in a comedy movie and TV series category at this year's AMVC Awards. Rosalind is the 5th Ghanaian to be nominated for the prestigious awards after the likes of Lydia Forson, Gloria Safo, Adjeti Annan, Pascal Aka and Raquel. The coveted awards, which honor exceptional performances in entertainment, are now in the 9th edition. The awards organizers MultiChoice rolled out the list of nominations into various categories on the weekend, and actress Rosalind earned a nomination for the Best Actress in a Comedy Movie and TV Series category for her role in the movie The Red Carpet. In 2020, Gloria Safo won for her role in Perfect Picture 10 years later, which was a Ghanaian sole nomination at the event. In 2018, Adjeti Annan and Lydia Forson won Best Actor and Best Supporting Actress, respectively, at the event. Adjeti Annan won for his role in the Ghanaian movie KTK, and Lydia Forson was celebrated for her role in the Nigerian film Isokin. Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News Today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Please join us this evening for Showbiz on Prime. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Hello, beautiful Becky, and that'll be it for the bulletin this afternoon. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.